last night at Black Pine Camp. When the bus turned off the main road onto a narrow trail leading deep into the woods, Maddie Sloan pressed her forehead against the cold glass. The towering pines stood like a solid wall, as if guarding ancient secrets hidden in their shadows. "Welcome to Black Pine Camp, kids," said Mr. Harris, the camp director, with forced cheerfulness. His smile seemed too wide, almost strained. The bus jolted to a stop, revealing a cluster of old wooden cabins arranged in a semicircle by a small lake. Everything looked strangely deserted. No laughter, no shouting, no bustling crowds. Only silence and the faint creaking of the pines in the wind. "Where is everybody?" Maddie whispered to her best friend Jules. "Maybe we're the first to arrive," Jules replied, though uncertainty colored her voice. Maddie grabbed her worn backpack and stepped down the shaky bus stairs. The sky was heavy with gray clouds, and the wind carried a strange scent, a mix of rotting leaves and something metallic. She didn't know yet that this summer would be her last. The first night passed quietly. The kids settled into their cabins. Maddie and Jules were assigned cabin hash 7 in the old section of the camp, closest to the forest. "Look," Jules said, pointing to the cracked number on the door. 7, the unlucky number. "How comforting," Maddie muttered, hauling her bag inside. The room smelled of damp wood and mold. The beds creaked loudly, even with the slightest movement. That night, Maddie woke to a strange noise. Something scratching at the window. She froze, listening. Scratch. Then a soft tapping. She gathered her courage and sat up. In the moonlight, she saw a shadow flicker outside the glass. "Jules," she whispered, turning toward her friend. But Jules was sound asleep, her face buried in the pillow. Maddie's heart pounded so loudly she thought it might wake the whole camp. She convinced herself it was just a branch, just her imagination. But in the morning when she checked the window, there were long, thin scratches on the glass, like fingernail marks. The next 2 days passed in a blur. The camp remained eerily empty. Many kids, they learned, hadn't arrived at all. Some had last-minute emergencies. Others had family issues. Maddie counted barely 20 kids total. At night, strange sounds continued. Whispers in the dark, soft footsteps outside the cabin, and glimpses of shapes moving between the trees. On the 3rd day, Katie, a girl from the neighboring cabin, vanished. Her bed was neatly made. Her clothes were gone. But no one had seen her leave. "Maybe she wandered into the woods," Mr. Harris suggested during an emergency meeting. "Or her parents picked her up." No one believed him. Maddie noticed how his hands trembled and how he nervously fiddled with the hem of his jacket. Something was very wrong. On the 4th night, Maddie had enough. "We have to find out what's happening," she whispered to Jules. "This camp, it's wrong." They grabbed flashlights and sneaked out into the night. The full moon lit the lake like a sheet of glass. They headed for the old library, a half-abandoned shack deeper in the woods. Inside, the air smelled of mold and damp paper. The overhead lamp flickered, throwing ominous shadows. Digging through dusty archives, they found it. Yellowed newspapers from 1958 told stories of strange disappearances at Black Pine Camp. 15 children had gone missing. The camp was shut down. But 30 years later, someone bought the land and reopened it. Maddie turned a page. A photograph. Black and white. A group of smiling children, and among them, a girl who looked exactly like Maddie. An icy knot tightened in her chest. Walking back to the cabin, Maddie heard them for the first time. Rustling, Light footsteps just behind her. Whispering. She turned. Nothing. Yet the feeling of being watched clung to her like a second skin. That night, Black Pine Camp plunged into chaos. Cabin doors slammed shut by themselves. From the forest came blood-curdling screams. Hundreds of shadows moved along the tree line. Children hid under their beds, too terrified to breathe. Maddie knew they had come for her. At midnight, the clock stopped. The camp sank into darkness as the power died. Maddie grabbed Jules's hand and pulled her outside. "We need to get to the lake," she gasped. "The legend says water can stop them." They ran across the empty camp, past the lifeless cabins and the twisted shadows of what had once been children. At the lake, they froze. From the forest, children were emerging, pale, empty-eyed, their arms outstretched, whispering the same chilling phrase, "Stay with us." Maddie took a step back, tugging at Jules, but suddenly Jules pulled away. "Oh, I'm sorry, Maddie," she whispered, and for a brief moment something alien flickered in her eyes. "I've been one of them for a long time." Before Maddie could scream, Jules shoved her into the water. The cold hit Maddie like a punch. She tried to swim, to fight, but her strength was fading. From the depths of the lake, hands reached up, grabbing her ankles. She realized she would never get out. Her last sight was Jules's face, gazing down at her from the shore, empty and merciless. Next morning, Black Pine Camp looked peaceful. A fresh bus pulled up, carrying new campers. Harris stood on the porch, smiling that same strange smile. Among the list of new arrivals was a new name. Maddie Sloan.